What's up, Brian? How's it going? Appreciate you hopping on the call with me. I actually do really appreciate it because it is a Sunday and there's not many people who would take time out of their day on a Sunday other than you. So I appreciate it, man. If you could tell, if you could tell everybody a little bit about yourself, I would really appreciate it.
Yeah, Kyle. Hey, appreciate you having me on. So yeah, no, I'm not anybody special. I'm just a normal person like everybody else. Joined the military when I was 17, spent 22 years, just retired. Also worked as a DoD civilian, and then just needed to find something else to do with my time. So started a business in dumpster rentals and junk removal, and just started the journey there. It's been about a year in business so far. So yeah, that's my story.
Awesome. And you're in dumpsters. You do a little bit of everything with the customers that you service. So dumpsters, junk removal, and landscaping, correct?
Yeah, we kind of do. I would kind of consider it more like property management. So basically, anything the customer needs, we find a way to get it done.
Okay. And doing all of those different things, right? What has that helped you accomplish, we'll say? Because I know what results you've done, in the past year, and you scaled a lot faster than others. What would you say the difference between doing that, right? And then just somebody going all in on junk removal, for example?
I think it just kind of opens the doors for different opportunities. For me, I think there hasn't been a job that hasn't led to something else. So, whether they call for landscaping or lawn service or something, we end up doing a junk removal or dumpster rental, or we ended up painting or pressure washing their house or whatever. So just being able to talk to a customer and see what they need and figure out a way to get it done for them at the best price, most efficiently, and within a reasonable time frame.
Awesome, man. So correct me if I'm wrong. I believe last November, maybe it was a little bit sooner than that, and then you ended up reaching out. Basically, we hopped on a Zoom call. You were in the truck, right? I believe dropping off some dumpsters, and you were interested in potentially finding a mentor to help you scale your junk removal dumpster business. Where were you at that time, and why were you even looking for a mentor?
Yeah, no, I kind of went all in. Again, I was just trying to find something to do with my time. I'd been serving for 22 years, just been busy my entire life, and so that's all I've ever known. So when I decided to retire to be closer to family and not have to leave as much, I ventured into this junk removal slash dumpster rental business to be able to do that. And so I started this time last year, August of 22, and basically from now until November, I just wasn't really uh, even paying the bills that I had spent in, and it was just kind of worrisome because when you got a wife and kids and stuff like that, and you've kind of spent kind of almost your life savings to try to get started. I started to try to just look around to find other opportunities and just kind of educate myself to figure out what I was doing wrong. And so I came across your podcast, and I was just like, man, if this young gentleman can, get it done, maybe he can teach me something. So that's when I reached out to you to try to get something going.
I love it. So I think we had two calls before you actually joined. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. The first call, maybe money was the problem, or you had to think about it, or that sort of thing. What I guess what ended up giving you that, like, okay, let's go ahead and do this? Was it just taking a big risk, or was it some social proof, or what was it exactly?
Yeah, and again, the whole reason that I kind of reached out to you was to try to figure out the things that I wasn't doing, and at the end of the day, like, yeah, it did come up to money. I had already invested almost everything that I had, and then for me to start taking away from my because I still had a daily job, but that daily job was to pay the bills and put food on the table, stuff like that, right? And I didn't want to start taking from that, so that was kind of like one of my last ditch efforts to kind of try to get this thing going. So yeah, I mean, talking to you, The other worry was, hey, it's winter time. It's slow, so we're expecting it to not really do much. But you and your team just kind of reassured me that, hey, this is the best time to learn because you don't want to be learning during the springtime, summertime when this thing hits off. And I mean, everything kind of worked out. So took the leap of faith, just jumped, just jumped off the cliff, and just kept going. And yeah, just didn't look back. So.
I love it. So, okay, so you joined Junk Academy, around that time, we'll say, and then you were 30 days into the program. And I want to make this as raw as possible. Most people wouldn't bring this up, but I want to, I think it makes it a great story. You were 30 days into the program. I think at the time we did offer payment plans, and I said, hey, Brian, your second payment's due. And you said, hey, man, I don't know if this is right for me. Explain, I guess, why you said that, and kind of what that conversation looked like, and then we'll move on to like the other what the process looked like after that with Junk Academy and working closely with me.
Yeah, so like you said, started out in November. So December was kind of really the first month of implementation into the academy. Again, I was still just kind of busy with life, kids. I was still at the time just kind of transitioning out of the military. So just really wasn't investing time or anything in that first month of December. And the numbers showed it. They didn't really change much at all. So I was just kind of just hesitant, like, man, I just lost out on the amount of money that I just put in. And, this isn't working. And again, I didn't have much room to spare on as far as cash flow and stuff like that because I had already spent most of my money. So when you had called, I had kind of started backtracking and saying, hey, I don't think this is right for me. The program isn't really helping me and stuff like that. And then you kind of had that come to Jesus meeting with me, what we call in the military, just far as just being 100% honest and transparent. Like, hey, well, first of all, you haven't even got through the whole program. You've only attended one call. How do you think things are going to help you out, right? And I kind of had a choice there. I could have just let my ego get the best of me and said, hey, this 22-year-old young man hasn't even lived life, for him to tell me that, I'm not doing the right things and stuff like that, or do what I did and suck up my pride and say, okay, yeah, he's right. Because at that time I wasn't investing my time, my efforts and stuff like that. And for somebody that has invested 22 years in a career, understands the significance, the sacrifice, those things that you have to do to get up to the levels that you get into and inside those careers that you choose. So I just said, all right, let's buckle down. You started investing a little bit more time with me, started looking at the things I wasn't doing, started refining my social media, my post, things, all this stuff that I was making excuses about. Got on the programs, started getting a little bit more involved and talking, and then just started hearing what everybody else was doing. Because I mean, that was kind of what discouraged me on the first call, was just, hey, these guys are way above my pay scale. Like I'm barely, making any money, and these guys are making tons of money. Like, and they're saying they're hurting. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I'm just not in the right place. But, ultimately, that meeting was instrumental in where we're at today.
Okay, I love that. Yeah, that's always, I love bringing that that up. I don't know if you do, but I always say it, it makes a good story. And entrepreneurship is never meant to be hard. Even mentorship, like anybody can invest into a mentor, and it doesn't mean that they're going to get results, right? At the end of the day,
Yeah.
the person who's in the hot seat is the one that has to commit and take action, right? And that's why they call a lot of people 1%ers. And you are one of those 1%ers. We have coaching calls on Sundays, and in the past when I've ran those calls, you're on there and you turn the camera on and you're doing a job on Sunday, right? When I know that all these other people are out there sitting on their couch or, just enjoying themselves because of it being Sunday. So, but so back in November, what kind of revenue were you doing? And then also, what kind of revenues are you doing at this point in time?
Yeah, and back in the in November, we were probably barely clearing about a maybe 1K a month. Wasn't even enough, like I said, to pay the bills or anything like that. And then the first month that we started implementing, we went up to 10K, and now we're anywhere from 20 to 50K each month now after that. So it's been good.
Awesome, man. So we talk to a lot of people, right? I think we've taken around 600, literally 600 calls for people interested in joining the Junk Academy in the past 90 days. And a lot of people, right, they're on the fence for some reason. Money's an issue. There's so many different things that are going on. What would you say to somebody that's actually on the fence, right? Who's wanting to, scale their junk removal business to $20,000 a month, we'll say?
Well, I mean, I think kind of like we've discussed, I'm a result of not doing anything and getting no results to looking at the program, implementing the things that you're saying, and then seeing massive results from that, right? So I guess if my advice to somebody that's on the fence is, if you're not willing to put in the effort and do the work, this program ain't for you, because at the end of the day, you're just going to be disappointed, because there's no magic to this. There's a lot of hard work. There's a lot of consistency within the program that teaches us what we got to do to scale, to find those customers, to find those leads. There's no one answer to all of it, but this program gives you multiple opportunities and resources to be able to find those things that you need to scale. So again, it still takes effort. It still takes a lot of drive, still takes a lot of sacrifice. So if you aren't willing to do those things, like anything else, just find something else to do. So but I think it's very important that the things that I've learned in this program, and I continue to learn, because even though Kyle may say that I'm doing great, I still feel I'm not. So I still go back to the drawing board. I still go back to the notes, the academy, and I still go back to calls, and I learn something every time. So this is a continued effort, and this program just gives you all those resources, like I said, to get that done.
That's amazing, man. Well, you've came a far way, and I really appreciate you, being able to you call me whenever, and I'm here for you, and vice versa. So again, man, really appreciate you hopping on. I appreciate you joining the Junk Academy, and sharing your feedback to the people.
No, I appreciate that. Thanks, Kyle, for the opportunity.
Absolutely.